on?
Nothing much. Hello, hello, and welcome to the commentary zone. Today, we are going to be recapping. We're going to be doing Bravo Week in Review. So, we're going to be doing The Real Housewives Season 13, Episode 15, Cajan Peaches. Then, we're going to be talking about Married to Medicine Season 8, Episode 4, Courthouse Advantage. Then, Below Deck Sailing Yacht, Season 2, Episode 5, Hollandaze and Bustiers. And Real Housewives of Dallas, Season 5, Episode 12, RV Having Fun Yet. And last but not least, Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 11, Episode 7, Oh, Feuds Never Die. So we have a lot to go through. So quick recaps on each of these tragic shows. Bravo's not doing it for me lately.
No, not at all. Like we could start in Atlanta. I mean, this is the cast trip, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they're going to New Orleans,
which is great. Love New Orleans. I've only been once, but I liked it when I went. I mean, the food. We gotta talk about the food. The food looked good. I'm there for it. They tried the little alligator. They were kind of like, okay. Oh, it tastes just like chicken. I'm like, okay, if you think so.
Chicken, very gamey chicken.
Right. Like, what kind of chicken you eating?
Don't forget, they've been sitting in the swamp a long time. Oh, God.
Exactly. So, I mean, this is an okay episode. Nothing fantastic. Like going to New Orleans. Candy arrives later. Latoya's. I'm not what's going on with Latoya. That was my main. Go ahead.
What do you think? Okay, this is Drew, her first season, and out the gate, she wants to host a trip. I think Ralph found them the smallest private jet ever to mankind. It's a sardine tin. My God, and no toilet.
Right, that was my main problem.
Whoa. Okay. Another highlight from this, as soon as they get there, there's food and entertainment and the challenge for the room. Best twerker gets the best room.
Right. And some of the ladies were there for it. One lady was not. So
yes, but that was to get camera time.
Of course.
And did you notice that the pixelation in poor little Brooklyn is getting bigger and bigger with every episode?
Right.
She'll be completely edited out in future episodes, I believe, but whatever.
Same.
As you said, Kenya throws a fit. She ain't twerking in front of her baby girl. She goes in. She doesn't like her room. She gets an upgrade at her own expense. Okay, do you, girl? They're staying at the Hotel Indigo. Hope I'm saying that right, but I probably not. First activity is bike riding, like a bicycle tour around the city, which I thought was really great.
Yeah, I'm still looking for the beignets though, sorry. But go ahead.
Well, you get the beignets later. Like, that's at breakfast. They went to dinner. The food was looking good.
Beignets are good anytime though. Like, I kid you not, when we went to New Orleans years ago, we brought back, I want to say, 3 boxes of beignet mix. And then we ordered like 3 more boxes.
I don't know. I just bought beignets from the air. Like, we had beignets while we were there, but there's a place at the airport where you can get them and just take them on the plane with you to go back. We bought a couple dozen between us. They did not land back in Florida. We looked like a cartel crime scene in our seats. The powdered sugar was everywhere, but they were really, really good.
Well, I will say this: I'm grateful that there's this place I go to every Saturday for my breakfast. It's just my way of getting out of the house. I have to work from home, and they have beignets. They have a good deep fry or whatever, and you can get beignets like an order of 3 or a dozen. And it's my favorite. It's what I look forward to every.
I haven't found anyone here locally who can, like, I think I was ruined because my first experience with a beignet was in New Orleans, and nothing has lived up to it since. Sorry, but
it's when they're flat. It's like That's the worst. When they're
Mm,
flat, when they fall flat, a beignet
yeah.
shouldn't be. It's like a beignet shouldn't be crispy. No.
Yeah, it is odd. Um, hold on. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So, yeah, we get diverted a lot by food, and we're very sorry, people, but I can't help it. I love food. All right. So, they take Cynthia to her room because she didn't have to do the twerking. Drew felt bad she couldn't sing at her wedding, so she gave her the best suite in New Orleans, the Mayfair suite at this hotel. So they take her to her suite. Everybody else was happy with theirs, with the exception of one. They do the bike ride tour. They go to dinner, and they have an issue, not an issue. I think Drew dug in a little bit too deep with regards to LaToya's decision to not drink. I don't think
Yeah.
you should ever like dig in on that. If someone's not drinking, leave them alone. It's their business.
Right. I thought it was
Just
unnecessary.
yes, and she could do with not drinking for a little while. She was getting a little
Hmm.
puffy. Um, she winds up leaving the dinner early. Marlo is having back problems, so she didn't make the bike tour or the dinner, but they do bring her back food at the hotel, which looked yummy. What else happens here?
I didn't think any of thing. I think there was. It was. Oh, they were hilarious. And were they in the gym or something? Were they doing the? They were trying to teach. They took a class.
The dancing.
I hollered. I hollered. I'm sorry.
All right, so Drew, this is a double duty trip for Drew. Drew is actually doing work, and she takes Cynthia to a radio show, iHeartRadio, where she does promotion for this movie that she's on or something like that. And the other ladies go to a dancing lesson. Candy can't dance, and she
Candy.
owns it.
Candy was the MVP of this episode for me because she was just like, I don't get it. This is not my thing. I can't do that.
Yeah,
She's like, I got all this behind and I can't do it. She was just so mad that she just couldn't do it. She just no matter
her
how hard she tried,
face,
her face.
her face was
Oh,
priceless. She didn't say much, but her face spoke volumes. Um, this is also where after the dancing class, we see Portia and Marlo get together for this long anticipated talk, which solved nothing. I think it
nothing.
made Portia angrier.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. Both of them better watch how they're moving forward. That's all I have to
Right.
say about that.
Agreed.
Nothing was settled in that conversation. And like I said, for Portia, it just seemed like it made it worse. They get on the bus, and why is Shamia being called a lapdog? What's the issue with her loyalty to Portia? And they're saying that it's not reciprocated.
These ones should cause issues.
Mm. Shamia can be loyal to whoever she wants to be loyal to. Like, I don't have a
Right.
problem with her. She's a friend.
She's always been that
Focus,
way though, so she's been
yeah,
consistent.
but focus on the contract players. Don't throw your daggers at the friends.
Right.
It makes no sense. What else happened in this episode?
Nothing that I can call, to be honest. Those were the highlights for me, at
Yeah,
least.
because they end off the episode getting back on the bus to head back to the hotel, I believe. That was it.
That was it.
Done. Okay, next we're on to Married to Medicine, season 8, episode 4, House Court Advantage. The whole majority of this show was taken up with Simone planning a basketball tournament, the parents against the kids, at Heavenly's house. She has a basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot that they did this a few seasons ago when the kids were much younger
Mm-hmm.
and much happier times on Married to Medicine. so long ago. But I guess it's fun, and it's, it's a nice idea, a great premise. And who knew that Heavenly had so much acreage?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I remember fucking Dineva doing like an interview with her when he went to her house. He said, he's like, I knew you had a nice house, but I didn't. He's like, when I drove up, it's like driving to a compound. Yep. He's like, I didn't know you was doing it.
I would have said that she had land, but notice I said acreage.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you got lots of land. She got acreage.
When he said compound, I'm like, yep, that's what I thought. Because you really, when they show her house, you don't see neighbors. At least I never noticed any neighbors.
Jamal, you now see what I'm saying. You don't see neighbors at Heavenly House.
Yeah, I was like, huh? I was wondering, I'm like, so I kind of assume when you don't really see neighbors, I assume that you have the land around you. That's why I was picturing her house, and I always liked her house. Personally, I like her kitchen.
When did she get 3 levels of closet?
About a year ago, she added a closet, and Toya says because like she had a 3-story closet, and I'm like,
Toya's only 2 stories though?
I believe it's 3.
It's 3?
I believe it's 3, but I'm like this though. Here's the thing: how, like, if someone does what you do, just take it as a compliment and move on. And my whole thing is this: Heavenly can do that because they own their stuff.
Yeah, they've been there for 20 years.
Yeah, they're not building something and putting it on the market. Just saying.
And they're 2 incomes, 2 doctor incomes. Not plus one struggling doctor income that's 1 foot in the grave, and then a wife who's taking her foot and pushing the husband further into the grave.
Plus other businesses. Like, and other investments. I mean, like, they're doing quite well, and like people don't like Dr. Heaven Cool. I respect her hustle. I respect that she's very smart. I enjoyed her conversation with her son. I really enjoyed that.
Is this the first time we're seeing that illegitimate child of hers, almost barely legitimate? I don't know. Remember that was the talk at a reunion that she was pregnant when she got married to Daddy.
Right. That's have we seen him before? I want to say
she always tells you, don't do the math.
I can't remember which one. It might be her middle son that we don't see. Or the second son, I should say.
I know we always see Alara because she's always like putting Heavenly in check.
She's hilarious.
She's heavenly.
Like when they're talking about the house, like he's looking for a house to flip, or looking for 150,000, blah blah blah, and he's like, yeah, I found this house, and he's like, but it's not quite 150,000. Okay, what is it, like 400? He's like, what? No, that's
and then he's like, but if you want a house on the lake, she said, who said we wanted to be on a lake?
Lake. I was crying. And then I was like, she's teaching him. I'm like, no, this is not what we do. I mean, I enjoyed that conversation because I think it was a good conversation.
Heavenly had a real estate license. I did not know that.
I did. She said that her first or second season.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to her. She's always been very annoying to me. Okay, let's take a look at Anila and Cajan, which is our newest additions to the season. Her parents are there. They go over to the house that's under construction, that's around the corner from Toya. And they're going through and they're explaining everything that they're doing and what's going to go where and whatever. And her mother starts going in. She don't like nothing.
Then I would be like, you got to come over. That's soft. That's soft.
But Aaron kind of said that. He was like, but this is our house. And then her dad pulls her outside and says, let me talk to you. And he goes, look, you have just, you know how she is. Just indulge her, because when I'm dead, where is she going to come to live? Just let her talk. And then, of course, that makes Anila kind of upset because no one wants to think about their parents dying.
No.
We see Jackie with a patient. Toya and Eugene are in a very tight bath. She should have gotten a bigger tub for Eugene, you know.
I mean, if you could spend all that money on like a closet and take out a loan for a pool, y'all could have got like a nice little jacuzzi pool, a jacuzzi tub or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can be comfortable.
I know she wanted that freestanding, modern tub, but if you got thickums running in your family, get the tub to court, or then two of y'all don't be in the tub at the same time. How about that?
Yeah.
Let your husband sleep after a long shift at the hotel and at the hospital, at the emergency room, and not wake him up to do a stupid scene. How about that? Just saying. Let's see. Okay, so we talked about them house flipping. Oh, Heavenly also asked her son, why is she always going to her kids for advice? I know they're smarter than her and socially adept more than her, but she wants to know how to tell Anila that she has no place in the Black Lives Matter movement or something. I don't know.
I think it's more. Here's the reason why. Because kids will tell you the unfiltered truth. And with adults, what tends to happen is when you go to ask an adult for an opinion or advice, you tend to take it as like the adult is telling you what to do. So you tend to tune them out. So you really get nothing out of the conversation. But with a child or an adult child, however you want to put it, you're more inclined to listen because their perspective is one of it's not like rose colored. It's not they have no dog in the fight. They're just there to give you their the honest truth. And so you're going to be more accepting of it.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so then Anila meets with Contessa at the park to discuss what happened at dinner. I think Anila owns up to her mistake of trying to get two people back together that shouldn't, but she is staying firm that she kind of disrespected her mom at the event.
I can understand, but I also disagree because it's a cultural thing, and Contessa said it right. At least in our culture, you do not put your hands on people. Like you do not know. It's not something you do. It's a personal space thing. Contessa tried to go away, and she said, no, I'm gonna go. And the mother kept hanging on. You don't do that. It's a culture thing. You just don't do it. So I don't like people doing that to me.
Right, but as much as we we respect your cultural interpretation of that, we also have to look at her mom's cultural interpretation of that. It is highly disrespectful to leave an event early. It is highly disrespectful to be yelling and cussing with elders at a table. Like, I'm not just only blaming this on Contessa for the cursing and the yelling. Toya is also at fault. But as much as we see one person's cultural norms, we also have to see the other person's cultural norms. And they were elders. I know she shouldn't have put her hand, and she didn't put her hands on Contessa in like a violent way. It was a pleading way, saying, please don't leave. And I know it doesn't matter to you. I know that, but I can kind of see it from both sides.
You can see it from both sides. You can see it from both sides. I get that. But when someone tells you, I am leaving, let me go.
I get
you let them go. It's not for me. There's no conversation. So no matter how culturally you explain it to me,
I know
I'm not going to accept that because for the simple fact is, Contessa got up. She wanted to leave.
And in their culture, you listen to elders. There's no talking back. You obey. That's what I'm trying to put across. It's two totally radical, different points of view, culture-wise. And that was the disconnect. And we saw it implode right in front of our screen. There's no talking back to parents. Like what Anila did at her house, most Indian families that I know, that would never happen. That would never happen.
But they're true, but they're more westernized too, so I tend to take that into account.
Yeah,
I take that into account. But back to the subject, it's just Contessa was like, I'm gonna go, yada. Like, it's just you just don't like, and you can't. I understand cultural differences, but at certain time when you put your hands on someone, that's pretty much a standard across the board. You don't put your hands on people you don't, particularly people you don't know, because.
But you're making it seem like this little lady was a threat to Contessa,
no,
and she wasn't.
And you don't. It's okay. I'm not sure like how you were raised or where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
When you put your hands on someone like in a more considered as an aggressive manner, and you pull on someone when they're trying to leave, it's not what you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not acceptable. At that point, you're supposed to let them go. Be like, you know what? Okay, fine, whatever. Because whether people like it or not, when you put your hands on someone and they're pulling away and you're trying to pull them back, by law that's assault. It really is. So this is why we have a thing: you don't put your hands on people.
Okay.
This is what you just don't do.
Okay. Well, I can see it from both perspectives culturally, and I think there could have been a little give and take on both sides. That's all I'll say.
And then Neela shouldn't try to get them together in the first place.
That was the first wrong.
So I blame Anila for this. Anila, it's your fault.
Yeah, that was the first wrong. But Contessa does apologize for offending her mom. And I hope Anila goes after Toya for offending her mom too. Because Toya's mouth and her behavior at events is getting out of control. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I do like her mom though.
Her mom is nice. Mom. Who? Anila's mom?
Anila's mom is cool. I like her.
Yes, and I want to taste her food.
Like I said, I could see the cultural difference. I'm not saying I don't see that. I'm just saying, and this is one of those lines I kind of take a firm stand on, only because you're taught as a kid. This is what I was taught: keep your hands to yourself. I've always been like that person. Like I do not put my hands on people if you put your hands on me first. And it's just that's always stuck in my head. Like, you don't put your hands on people first. Belongings, if they're not yours, don't touch them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like one of those firm lines I was drilled to me as a kid. So I've always held steadfast, like, just to keep myself out of trouble.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
No, we get it. I get it. At the basketball game, we all know the adults cheat to win the game over the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Toya complaining about no forks for the food when clearly she picked up one of those plastic wrapped forks, knife with napkin in it to get the napkin to wipe her hand? What was she doing? Did you see that?
Real quick though, I want to go back before when Simone's son, I guess Michael. Miles?
Yes.
Is it Miles or Michael? Michael.
Miles is the one that went to Howard and dropped out.
Right.
Michael's the one going off now. Mm-hmm.
Michael told Simone that he wanted Dr. Jackie. He's like, look.
Yes.
He's like, look, I love her. Like, she delivered me. Like, you need to invite her.
Yeah, he's not part of that argument.
I just thought that was, I'm like, you know what? I love that thing that you did that. Because he's like, I love her. And he's not fooling so right without her and Cecil not being there. And Simone recognized that, and she's like, okay, I'm going to invite them. And like, I felt bad because Dr. Jackie couldn't go because she was on call for like the next 3 days. I'm like, At least there's progress. There's progress.
But listen, she knows she did wrong for the graduation barbecue.
She
What was it?
knows.
The barbecue thing.
Right.
She did wrong. He wasn't gonna let her make that same mistake again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's calling her to the carpet for it.
Mm-hmm.
Invite the first person who held me in this world, Dr. Jackie. Ah, this you don't get your kids involved in the adult mess. Jesus. What else happened here?
Toya was
Oh,
complaining about no forks. She was just wanting something to complain about because she mad at Heavenly. But okay.
but wait. At the very end, everybody's gone. Heavenly decides to attack Anila and say she don't got a job, blogging's not a job, and then unleash the dragon by saying, calling into question how Toya financed her home based on what Quad told her. Oh my God, really?
So the whole Anila thing was like, 'cause I didn't know that was. What do you do? It's like, I'm a blogger. She's all like, oh,
I
that's
didn't
what
know
I do.
that was a job.
I didn't know that was a job. I was like, oh. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay, rude, but whatever. And then Neela got offended, and that turned into the whole Black Lives Matter conversation. And I can see both sides, but
Uh-huh.
Anila, Boo Boo Kins, you're not black. So you can't really compare your experience the way you're trying to within when it comes to Black Lives Matter, because yes, you've experienced maybe some racism. I understand that,
Uh-huh.
but the being black in America is a whole different experience because of the history of black people in America.
Mhm.
Did heavily frame it that way? No, heavily just went for the digs, and that's just really what it was.
But was Anila trying to say she was black?
I think she was
I thought
trying
she
to.
was saying that she's a
She said
person
we're
of
the same.
color.
She was
Oh,
no.
she
She
said
said
we're
we're
the
the.
same.
Yeah,
Okay.
and heavily took offense to that.
I wonder if Heavenly, like, I know this is going off subject, but I wonder if Heavenly realizes that India has had, or probably still has, like the caste system, where they even categorize a certain segment of their population as untouchables.
Oh, you mean the caste system,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what it is that black folks in America, like slavery is a huge part of this country. Let's just call thing a
Mm-hmm.
thing. So the fact that your people have not had that experience in America, like we're not trying
Mm-hmm.
to hear when you trying to say we're the same. You can
Okay.
say you can say I sympathize, I empathize, but you should
Uh-huh.
never say we're the same because we're not. The experience of being black in America is completely different than being another race in
Mhm.
America. And I think that's where Heavenly was coming from. Did it come across the best? No.
I wish
Could
she
she
would
have
have
done it
said it
better?
like that. Or get one of her children to translate the
Yes.
confused thoughts that are in
Mm-hmm.
her head.
Right.
And how could Heavenly say that she didn't know that blogging was a job when Heavenly has had her YouTube channel since 2011?
Because I think she just sees this for fun. To be
Not if
honest,
you're collecting a check.
that's the thing. That's what I think. That's what Toya mentioned, and I thought Toya made a good
Right.
point.
Yeah.
It's just for Heavenly, this is not a necessity for her. So to her, in her mind, it's not a job. She's like, oh, I just go on YouTube and have some fun, even though she's getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, she feels if it's not a professional job or it's something that she does for fun while making money, it's not a job, which is not the case because blogging takes a lot of
Yes,
work.
it
It's not.
does.
It's not. It's not for the faint of heart. Not
And
many
does
people can make a living.
she know Anila's background though? Her professional background?
She's never asked. And then Neela, I'm interested in Neela's background.
Okay.
That's what I was excited for.
I'm just
Like,
always so disappointed in Heavenly for like she jumps into these massive assumptions
mhm,
without getting to know people. She's
mhm,
almost like Vicky Gundelson. Remember Vicky didn't like anybody new coming to the group.
mhm,
Anybody. It
mhm,
was always a problem, an issue. And Heavenly is a lot like that, and it's
mhm.
irritating.
Right. And I want to go back to the Black Lives Matter thing with Anila.
Mhm.
Here's the thing with how I took it.
Mhm.
I don't think Anila meant any harm. So Heavenly, you didn't have to like address her aggressively on camera. It wasn't necessary. You
Mhm.
guys could have gone to like lunch and had a conversation. Like, you know what? I get where your perspective is coming from. Like, you've dealt with racism, you've dealt with prejudice. I do understand that.
Mhm.
But when you're saying that we are the same, we aren't due to our culture's history in America.
Mhm.
So I felt bad for Anila in that moment because she didn't deserve that, and also like she didn't deserve Heavenly coming for her like her profession without asking like, hey, like I know you're a blogger, but like how did you get into it? Like that could have been a cool conversation
Mhm.
because when people whatever you do for work, if you go and you get a check, like you not out here getting loans left and right, like be happy for that person. You
Yeah.
know, this is something that she's done. Like she, you know, she had to make a boy to make money because she didn't want to be dependent. So she
Mhm.
made a business for herself.
Yeah.
So that should be celebrated, not
Yeah, she
like
didn't
cut
just sit
down.
at home and be a housewife. She needed to
Mhm.
be productive. Toya,
Mhm.
Toya. That was the one
So
good point that the Heavenly had. Toya, why you don't do that?
I
Give
honestly
Eugene a
thought
hand.
I always thought toys could have been like a cool like interior decorator or something
Mhm.
because she's built these couple of homes and furnished them so well and decorated them so well. I'm like, you really could do this for a living and make buku bucks.
Mhm. Or even like what you had said before, an influencer. She
Mhm.
could be really good at doing that, and that's like passive income if you ask me, because all you do is put up a picture of yourself, a selfie of yourself with whatever product you're
Mhm.
promoting, and you get paid for it.
Mhm.
I don't know.
But this was for me. This episode was pretty cool.
Mhm.
There's some things I just didn't like.
Mhm.
There's some things that could have been handled better.
Mhm.
I mean, you can have drama, but there's certain things that should not be used for drama.
Mhm.
Black Lives Matter is one of them.
Mhm.
I feel this is a conversation. This could have been such a powerful scene had they gone out to lunch and had this conversation one on one. I think
But
that's what
don't
it is
you
for
think
me.
she could have taken like use this as a learning opportunity for her to show her the differences and say, look, I know we're not the same, but any support to our cause is welcome,
Hmm.
you know? But
Yeah.
instead, you've like almost soured this girl to even like if what if she wanted to go out and join a protest? Now she's
Hmm.
probably like, I ain't gonna do that. Look what she said to
Right.
me.
Hmm.
I don't
Most definitely.
know.
It's just there's ways to handle things.
Yeah. Why when is Heavenly gonna learn that?
Never.
Okay. All right, guys. And just so that you know, I'm gonna go back and put in timestamps when with every segment that we're doing, just to make it easier for you guys to navigate. Just look in the description below. Um, Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 2, Episode 5, Hollandaze and Bustiers. We're still with Barry and his motley crew of nine people who are the guests of this charter, and everything that could go wrong does go wrong. I feel bad for the crew, um, but Barry's not. Barry and his guests, they're not easy. They're not easy at all.
Yeah, 9 different people, different personalities, different food needs. I'm not sure how they're getting through this charter. but they're doing it so well. So I'm not mad. It's a lot, especially on Natasha. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, she is just like a one-man kitchen crew. And Barry is just like, I know we should have brought our private chef. No, you need a whole culinary team to service all of your wants and needs. It is ridiculous. You are just hamming it up for the camera. I get it. But nobody can be this outrageous. And then you've got like very needy guests. You've got the Tinder that completely breaks down. Thank God they were able to get a backup rental.
Mm-hmm.
You've got them saying, okay, they could have done food for them out on that beach, but they said no. They wanted to delay lunch till 2:30. Then they get onto the beach and they want food all of a sudden. And then, push back lunch. It was just a disaster because someone could not make up their mind on what they wanted, and they're not considering how difficult this is on a crew like this.
Yeah, it was just all the different wants and needs is too much for one person and 9 people. It's not really.
But it's
It
not just
doesn't.
Natasha. Like the interior crew is completely overwhelmed by
Oh
them.
yeah,
An exterior crew is not chipping in to help.
they don't feel like they have to.
But if you see, that's not how a ship works though. If you see one side needs help, like it's all hands on deck. That's where that phrase comes from. Like, I'm so disappointed in how Gary is, like, his nasty attitude is dribbling down to his crew, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why they wouldn't help. But at least
Because
JL goes and help.
yeah, they're just not made to do it. That's all. That's really what it comes down to. Like, because Gary has made it clear, like, oh, that's not our department. We don't have to do that.
But he shouldn't be like that as a
Oh
first mate.
no,
He
of
shouldn't.
course,
That's
I
dead
agree.
wrong. Because the captain should not have to be stepping in and like for the drag night when he was trying to make the excuse for them not to dress up as they had agreed to do,
Mm-hmm.
and the captain's like, oh, sorry, did I ruin your excuse? Like, the captain is seeing your bad attitude.
Right.
I don't know. I expect a lot more from a first mate. I'm just like totally pissed.
I have a question.
And
I never asked this. Like, have you ever worked on a boat?
oh,
Because you just know so much about this subject. And I'm like, has she worked on a boat before?
I dated someone whose family owned businesses with boats. He's a licensed captain. Right now, he's in charge of the tugs in Barbados, and the tugs are they're the vessels that go out to the big cruise liners, and he
Okay.
goes on board and he docks the cruise liners. The captain of a cruise line does not dock their boat when they go into port. The captains from the port do it because they know their port, they know the depths, they know which berth is best for which. And as these vessels get bigger and bigger, the local captains become more essential. So a tug will go out to a cruise liner,
Mm-hmm.
board, and then that local captain will bring the boat into dock.
Okay. To avoid damage, basically.
Yeah, because you can expect a captain to know the intricacies of each port. It's different than an airline, because you can see the ground coming up below an airline,
Mm.
but you don't know what's beneath the water on
Got
a
it. Okay.
boat. Yeah.
I was just curious because you know a lot, and you're not, and you're speaking like from experience. Like, let me ask this question. Okay,
Yeah.
makes total sense.
I know it. I know a little bit, and it's purely by sexual injection and nothing more.
However you get your knowledge. Okay.
But yeah, we're still very good friends up to now. His father is a captain. His brother is he's a captain. And his brother is the one that I told you that works on vessels overseas for months at a time.
Right.
He's an engineer and does something like what Jovi does.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they're all seamen, all of them. Oh, and his dad is head of the port, or used to be head of the port. He retired, but he was head of the port in Barbados, the seaport in Barbados. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yeah, back to this messy story. What do you think of these guests?
Just too many guests, too many desires, too many wants, too many needs, and it just seems to be a little extra. But I understand what you expect when you're renting a yacht. I get it, but I think you kind of need to adjust and understand the crew. But I do wonder when they know these guests are coming, because I would think that if you know you're going to have 9 guests, why wouldn't you bring on extra help? I guess, like, for example, like, why couldn't you hire like a local sous chef to help Natasha out for this charter?
That galley's yay big. It's only couldn't accommodate her as a chef.
Oh, is it just we would make it work, like something, because I just feel
Here's the
bad.
thing. I don't think that yacht can accommodate 9 guests. I think it's a tight. I think it's a tight fit.
For
I
6, they
think
said.
yeah, it can do 6. But that's it. So crew matches guests 6. They squeezed on the 9. I think it was because of pandemic. But here's a question I have for you. Do you think Barry is behaving that way because he's nervous about proposing to the guy?
That and the cameras.
That and the cameras. Okay. I was trying to give him some grace. I really was.
Because my thing is, like, do you really? I always look at things this way. When you go out, do you act like this at home? Because if this is how you really are in real life, I just feel bad for you, because knowing people who have like lots of money, they just don't behave this way. Like, no, just mainly because they're not trying to embarrass themselves in public. To be honest, like, they don't want anyone to see them behaving poorly, and they're pretty. People I know, they're pretty cool people overall. So to me, he just comes off as very snobby, very elitist, but I don't think he's that kind of guy though. It's weird because I just feel like his actions don't match his personality, which is why I'm attributing this to nerves and you just being on camera.
Okay.
Because it's I don't think his demands are that unreasonable, but I kind of feel that he's being a little extra when he's explaining himself. All you have to say is like, you know what? My apologies. The poached egg looked great. I personally would have offered it to someone else, like, hey, you know what, guys? This looks really good. It's just I don't like hollandaise sauce. Would anyone else like to try this? And if they said no, I'd call the stew. I'm like, hey, like, this looks great, but I don't like hollandaise sauce. My apologies. Can I get another one without the hollandaise? So, something like that. It didn't have to be as extra as it was. That's all.
I think he's nitpicking, and I think nerves are playing into it as well. For me, the MVP of all of these 9 people is Brent. Brent is living his best flicking life and twerking as if tomorrow will never come.
Brent just wants to drink and lay out. That's it.
Yes.
Easy guess.
Yes. I wish the rest of them would be that easygoing. Tony seems okay. He's not It's all Barry. And that's why I asked you if you think it's nerves for the proposal. What else happened here? Oh, what'd you think about Danny softening up towards JL? Both of them picked each other when Barry asked them who they thought was the cutest on board. And then she's wondering, how would 5'3" line up against 6'9"? Hop on board and find out, girl.
But then she said, I think she said, like, well, when you're laying down, it really doesn't matter at that point.
No, I think the other girl said it.
Was it the other girl? Okay.
I think so. Because she was like, how is that going to work? And the other girl was just like, well, when you're laying down, it don't matter. They do look cute together, though.
They're hilarious. I like Danny a lot. I like her a lot. She's fun. She's not taking things too seriously, but she does her job well. JL, now he's actually getting some good sleep. He seems to be like doing a good job.
God. Amazing. Let's see. We have another snafu with like you said, the Hollandaise sauce, and I did not like Daisy going to Captain about it again. It's just like, girl, come on, go wash up the dishes that you was complaining that there was too many of.
It's like she's purposely trying to throw Natasha under the bus, and I just didn't like that.
It's becoming personal now. I'm not liking it. Anything else in this?
For me, no. I mean, for the staff that they have, or I should say the crew that they have, and the number of guests, they're doing a good job.
Okay, so on to the next show. Let's see. Okay, this is The Real Housewives of Dallas, season 5, episode 12. RV having fun yet? And Stephanie is taking everybody camping in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. This is where she's from, right? Well, she's from Oklahoma. I'm not sure where in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And she's on the phone trying to set up somebody to see Bigfoot. Is this the right group for that?
Right. Exactly.
And then, like, they're camping. Is this the right group for that?
Yes, and like Stephanie, no, like what I would have done, we could have done a nice little trip to Oklahoma. I would love to stay one of those resorts, like one of those reservation resorts, I guess, like where it's on
like casino.
Yeah,
casino and a spa. Yeah. And then like you could go out for like a 2-hour activity and
right.
see like a reservation or something, and then come back to the air condition of the spa. Okay. I thought it was just me. I was like, is this the right group? But okay, we going to see Bigfoot. But before we do that, Tiffany throws a birthday party for her twin daughters. They're turning 6. And of course, she does it at one of her husband's hotels.
Good job. Tiffany has learned quickly.
Product placement, girl. Get it. The little girls get hair and makeup.
And she got to clean up.
Yes. She's learning. The little girls get hair and makeup along with her. Her mother comes over. I guess this is where her mother starts like planting seeds of doubt in her head with regards to taking one extra day off per week. I think she's hypersensitive about anything that her mother says. Her mother was only asking if she was still getting health insurance.
Right.
That's important for everybody.
Yeah,
no matter what. I know Tiffany doesn't have to worry about that. And after I saw it, during the scene, I was like, girl, you're being oversensitive. Afterwards, when I marinated on it, I'm like, she doesn't have to worry about health insurance because Daniel, besides having a lot of money, he also works. They could fall under his coverage. Just saying. Yeah.
I think she's always going to be a little sensitive to her mom. I think because she always, I won't say she always, but from what I get from her, is that she'll always be a little girl.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from her. Like I feel like she hasn't come into her own yet. Even though she's highly successful, She's a
Mhm.
doctor, like she's married to a good guy. He has money, he has business. They have like two like twin daughters together. Like she's accomplished a lot. But when it comes to her mom, like she feels like she hasn't really come into her own yet. You know?
I
Like
think if her mother gave her some sort of validation and told her,
mhm,
"You've
okay.
done what I've expected you to do."
Okay, now she said that. Do you think that Tiffany just wants to hear like, you know what? I appreciate you. Do you think that could be it?
I think she wants to hear, "I appreciate you. Thank you for everything that you've done for me and your dad, how you take care of us, and I love you unconditionally." I think she
Mm,
wants to hear those things.
okay. That's the train I was on. I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't think her mother. I don't think I've ever heard her mom say thank you.
No.
You give me a Porsche or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm thanking you. You know what? I'm babysitting once a week
No,
just to say thank you.
she what did she say? She had and I get where she's coming from with this because I have a similar issue with my mom. Like nothing is ever good enough. There's always a complaint. You could give them the best thing ever. And like if I gave my mother that Porsche, not that I could ever do that ever in this lifetime or next time lifetime, but if I gave it to her, she'd be like, "Oh, but why is the interior this color? I really wanted red." Girl, if you don't sit your ass in that car,
Hmm.
it's just those little things.
Hmm.
And over time, they dig in the psyche real deep.
Hmm.
So any little thing that comes out of her mouth, it's never good enough.
Hmm.
And she could be there saying, "Wow, this is some amazing, steak." And what you're hearing is, this steak tastes like dirt."
Okay.
You're never gonna hear it right.
I got you. I was like listening to her mom. I'm like, her mom seemed cool
Mhm.
and seemed to be asking like okay questions. And Tiffany just like, I'm like, well, did I miss something? And I thought about my hand, like, you know what? You're probably just seeing yourself as a little girl being critiqued or
Mhm.
being told what you have to do and to do better and be better. So
But
I'm like,
you said
okay,
it yourself. The mother-daughter relationship is tricky.
at best, at the best of times, it's tricky.
But she has a pretty little tea party for the girls. Grandma's there, fussing over wiping their hands down with sanitizer. Um, yeah, I think it was cute. It was a nice little thing for the little girls during the panorama. And then we see Deandra calls Brandy to talk about the cafeteria Christian blow up from last episode.
Hmm.
They want to clear the air before they go on the camping trip. And so they both agree to meet up. Um, Cameron, oh God, Cameron teaches her son how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and tried not to lick the knife. And her husband is behind her back closing the deal on the dream house.
Her husband. I wish, to be honest, I wish there were more interesting husbands on the show because I like Deandra's husband.
Mm-hmm.
I like um Deandra. I like Court. I like Travis. I wish there were more interesting husbands because they love their wives. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like they love their wives, and the fact that Court has been just working on this deal to get it closed, and I understand where he's coming from because he does not want to see his wife hurt on any
Mm-hmm.
level.
Mm-hmm.
And when Cam would try to come at him, I'm like, he's doing this to protect you. I
Mm-hmm.
understand you want to be involved, but your husband is trying to protect you emotionally, and I give him so much respect for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that he's able to close the deal on the house and get her dream house. I'm like, this is what it's about. I just really like that scene, and he was trying to he was making her suffer a little bit, which I understand, I get it,
Mm-hmm.
but to see that he did it and he was so happy and he was just like he genuinely just wanted to do this for her. I bet you he would be happy in a smaller house, but he does this for her.
Yep. Yep, agreed. They do have a cute dynamic that I'm growing to appreciate. I like him more than her, but that, you know, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
He,
okay.
I like the fact that he like gives her little digs here and there. Like they
Mhm.
have a playful banter, but he knows who his wife is, and he
And
loves her
loves her
for it.
for it.
He
Yeah.
loves her for it.
Mhm.
He, but he's not gonna be a pushover, and
Mhm.
I appreciate that about him. You
Yeah.
know, I think all the husbands are good in that respect. Like they love their wives. They give them quarter when it's needed, but they hold their feet to the fire when it's needed as well. They don't just
Mhm.
blindly defend their wives.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
And I like that in all. I like for me that's the relationship I like. Like me and my good friends, like they'll tell me like, you know what, you're being kind of an ass. I'm like, okay, like I can see where you're coming from,
Mhm.
and we hold each other accountable for the things we do and things we say. Like overall, like we do a pretty good job of being cognizant, but sometimes when we're not, it's like
Mhm.
hold up, that was out of line, it wasn't necessary. And I see
Okay.
the same things with these couples. Like
Mhm.
Jeremy, when Deandra's wrong, he tells like, look, this is where you went wrong. Even though I get your perspective, no.
Right.
Travis is Travis was really hard on Stephanie. I could get his point of view, but he would be a little bit harsh. But now that she's coming into her own, and she's kind of like letting him know, like, no, and he'll be like, you know what,
I'm gonna
okay,
back off.
yeah. Like when he apologized to her, when she
Mhm.
said that it hurt me that you didn't believe in me, he
Mhm.
said, I'm sorry. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's
I never
this is
heard
what I'm
him
talking
say
about.
something like that.
Never,
Never.
never. But I do now for me back to the dream house. Me personally, that's too much house. Can I could take a third of the dream house and I'm cool.
Well, yeah, cause hold on. Let's get the rundown on this house. Do we have it? Do I have it here? No. Wait, hold on. The dream house. It's over yet 9,700 square feet.
Yeah.
5 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 3-car garage, entertainers, pool, and patio. I don't know what entertainers is, but I wrote it down because it was on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think for a house of this size, they should have a 4-car garage, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, just depending on how many cars you have. Now I just pulled up on Bravo.com. Like you said, 5 bedroom, 9 bathrooms. See, I love any house that has more bathrooms than bedrooms. I just do.
Well, where else are all the housekeepers gonna go to take a piss and shit?
I'm just saying, like, have you ever, how you get them, you see those homes that have, like 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. I'm like, excuse you?
Mm-hmm. Not even
Are
a
you serious?
half bathroom for guests.
I'm always a big fan of the houses that have like a 1-to-1 ratio of bathrooms to bedrooms. Like each bedroom should have their own bathroom kind of thing. Because if you just assume you're gonna have 2 people per bedroom, there's gonna be a fight for the bathroom and for the hot water.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of a half bath, and here's why. I don't want any guests going into the living quarters. Stay in the public areas,
Mhm.
and that way I don't have to call the police if you've stolen something.
Mhm.
Remember Real Housewives of Johannesburg and Cristal started
Yeah.
wandering all around Madame's house looking for a toilet? No. No, nope, nope, nope.
And then ran back talking about their house is dirty. See, no ma'am,
Ah, yes.
no ma'am.
Okay. So yeah, so
So
great,
congratulations to
great house.
Cameron.
Yes, congratulations. We see, let's see. Deandra sets off the smoke alarm and the police come while she's cooking dinner for her husband. Um, and then they wind up getting sexy time in the pool. Ugh, bleh. Um, what is it? Carrie makes Jello shots for the camping trip with a whole bottle of tequila. I'm scared.
No, I'm here for a Jello shot. Those are fantastic.
I don't want no Jello shot from her. No,
Oh,
I
the
want to be able
cherry,
to wake up.
the strawberry or the cherry Jello. Ooh,
Mm,
the best.
not from her. Not from her. And then I prefer them with vodka, not tequila. I'm
Yeah, 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 yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm
Yeah.
with you. I never had them with tequila. Vodka on
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Um, Tiffany goes to see Mama D to get advice regarding her how to communicate and handle her mom and develop a
Hmm.
better relationship. I think Mama D did a good job at counseling her. And you can see they have a real relationship.
Oh, I mean, I was in there like I was drawn into that conversation. I was
Mhm.
hoping it would go on a little longer because I enjoyed their rapport so much,
Mhm.
and you can tell Mama D has love for Tiffany, kind of like she has love for Deandra in a way, but her love for Deandra, it's much more. It's like it's you can tell Dee's like a second mom to Tiffany
Mhm.
because Mama D loves Deandra, but she pushes Deandra. I mean, and you could tell Mama D's lived a life like she's you
Mhm.
could tell like she struggled and she's like fought for everything she has, which is why she's hard on Deandra. And yeah, it comes across as kind of mean and kind of rude, but that's just a combination of the mother-daughter relationship, and then she knows what her daughter can do,
Mhm.
and that's why she would never give Deandra any quarter or any praise until Deandra did what she felt like Deandra could and should do. Because once Deandra got the company turning a profit again, Mama D said she was proud of her, and she tells people like, no, Deandra's very educated, and Deandra has accomplished a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah, did she like praise Deandra like some people would like her to? Like, oh my God, Deandra, you're great, you're wonderful. She's like, no, but you better be sure she's proud of her daughter. And then when she's counseling Tiffany, she's like telling like you gotta try, you gotta like, you know what, keep trying until you do all that you can. Because you remember like Deandra and Dee's relationship was almost it was to its breaking point,
Mhm.
but they both fought for the relationship, and that's
Mhm.
what Mama D's telling Tiffany to keep fighting for it. And then if you can't come back from it, it's okay. You did all you can because she's
Mhm.
gone through that with Deandra. So I just love that scene personally.
Hmm. I wonder if Mama D was as hard on Deandra when she was working in DC, before she came home. I wonder how their relationship was then.
It's probably better because they weren't around each other all the time. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I think
No.
I think I think distance is a great thing sometimes
Mhm.
because
Mm-mm-mm.
when you live in the same area, you kind of feel like you should go see your parents. Have a do that kind of stuff. But when you in DC, like, look,
Oh my
I can't come to the
gosh.
house. You know, it's good.
Yeah.
Distance is good
No.
sometimes.
Mhm. Okay, so what did you think about okay, so Brandy is getting ready to go and see Deandra, but she checks her email and gets something on her phone or something like that about a page 6 article, poor page 6, that Deandra did commenting on the video that got Brandy into so much trouble.
Uh,
What'd you think?
I can understand slightly where Brandon's coming from, but
Mhm,
again, when I heard from Deandra said, I'm not jumping ahead. I'm sorry, but
mhm.
Deandra said like, well, that's not really what it was about.
Right,
Um,
because when Brandy sent her the text and said, "I'm really disappointed in you. I just found out that you said this about me in the
mm,
video, and I'm not coming to your house anymore to talk." Deandra did explain to the producers before she ended the scene saying, "That's not what it was about. I was really, supporting Brandy in everything that
mm,
she, has gone through. And all I said was that yes, we do tackle the issue straight on the show. Now, I can't say whose side I'm on because I would have liked to have read the article to see for myself if what Deandra said was all that bad. But as we see in the following scene, when all the ladies are getting together to go camping and Deandra shows up, Brandy is of the opinion that she should have just said no comment and that's it. But sometimes no comment isn't a good enough answer for certain subjects.
And then no comment means you. So with
you ain't
no
got nothing
comment,
good to say.
That or you can come across as complicit. So it's a trick. And so, like you said, in certain subjects, it's not an okay answer. And then what my thing is, another thing I have is I'm very interested to know if Brandy read the full article because when she was ranting, it was about the title. I'm like, but and Deandra said like, well, Brandy, like I gave the interview, you don't see the title until it comes out. I'm a good point, Deandra. And I'm like, Brandy, you're just looking to be a victim. And that's just how it came across to me. You were just looking for any chance to be a victim because you're upset that Deandra ate you up at the party.
And you know what it is? She doesn't have a storyline. It's just this. It's just this. So she's fighting everybody on this one thing.
Or she's deflecting from other storylines that we hear allegedly are out there.
Oh dear. Yeah, allegedly. We're not gonna dip into that. But was there anything else in this episode that we need to touch on?
I wonder how you felt about Brandy saying Deandra is selfish and that's how she feels and this and that, and Deandra coming back saying like, you know what, I am selfish. If you think I'm selfish, you think I'm selfish, blah 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 blah. And Carrie jumping in saying like, well, if everyone's saying it, like maybe you should look at yourself. And I'm like, well, I can see your point of view, but that's a very slippery slope. The reason I say that is because what if everyone said, Carrie, you're an alcoholic and that you drink too much and that you have a drinking problem?
Here's my thing on that. Brandy could feel however she want to feel with regards to Deandra in that situation. And Deandra could feel however she want to feel about her motivation for doing the article. That's her business. The argument is between those two ladies. Okay. Carrie should have kept her mouth shut. Carrie, again, looking for a storyline. And it almost came across to me when she jumped in that she hadn't fully resolved her issue with Deandra.
Okay, that's where I was going. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah. And she just wanted to jump on a let's fight Deandra bandwagon, which I wasn't here for. And I was just like, shut up, girl. Where your Jello shots? Go take a Jello shot.
I took it the same way. Perfect. I just want to see if I was on the right track with that. Because I'm like, this has nothing to do with you.
Oh, my God. Like with this crew, it's 50 and fighting all the time. Yes, Ablavi, I'm quoting you. 50 and fighting for these idiots. Anything else?
No.
All right. So let's move on to The Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 11, episode 7. Old feuds never die. Ciao. We start off back at the dinner. Joe is going off. Margaret is going off. Jackie is a snot machine. Melissa goes off. There is a sacrifice of a cheese platter. I'm gonna let you can go at it.
I'm sorry. First of all, I am not a fan of wasting food like that.
Yes.
That looks like some good cheese that you done messed up. And I'm not sure if you feel this way, but I feel like I was overproduced. I was doing a bit much. I'm like, really? The throwing of the cheese platter, the yelling in her face. I'm like,
yes. And then when Joe starts up, because her agitation amps up Joe, And then she picks up the knife and she's scraping, cleaning up the cheese that she just threw away. Melissa, either you a boxer or you a housemaid. You can't be both in the same scene.
That's like breaking the glass and find the broom and dustpan and clean it up. Like what? What?
If you didn't care about the cheese and you disrespected it enough to throw it all over the place, don't go
Yeah.
back to pick it up. Who the hell gonna clean that up? I mean, who wants it? Nobody. Just leave it there. Be present in the fight, just in case you got to back up your husband and pull Teresa hair out or something. You need to do that.
That's why I say it's produced. Like I'm like, who makes a mess and then cleans it up? No.
Oh my God. And poor Frank. Frank is there going, what's going on? Like,
Right.
why did we get Joe mad? Don't we remember that we don't get Joe mad? Joe got red. Oof. And then Bravo So Shady did all the flashbacks of him raging. Like, stop that.
I like Joe.
Remember it.
I like Joe a lot. Melissa, well, but Melissa made a very good point. Like we defend you all the time, but you never defend us. We've been saying, Melissa, we've been saying that for years.
But what I do like, this was the opportunity that I have been waiting for years. Joe Gorga puts it all out on the table. He goes, I blame Joe Giudice for killing my mother, killing my father, and putting my sister in jail and traumatizing my nieces. I blame him for everything. I was like, oof. That needed to be said.
Just a smidge, though, just for the people in the back.
That needed to be said. I felt bad when he banged his hand, but thank God he only hit the table and not nobody else, But yeah, like when he did the hand banging thing, I was like, okay, this has gone off script right now.
Right. That's what I said. The first part was produced. The whole Melissa thing was produced. That was produced. A little bit of the first part of Joe. I'm like, okay. Then you could see, like, okay, you didn't going off the reservation, sir. You are ad libbing.
Mm-hmm. But he needed to say that. He needed to say that in a passionate way to Teresa because it wasn't. Like she was refusing to acknowledge how hurt her brother was, and he needed to say who he was blaming. And especially with both of their parents dead now, like,
right.
And he said to her later on when they were at his pool deck, he was like, you're all the family I have left besides my wife and my kids. Like, they're the anchor of their family. And he's trying to listen to his mother and father, to always protect your sister, always defend your sister. And he just wishes that she would do that for him, and she doesn't. And I feel like he thinks that Juicy Joe gets in between the relationship of him and his sister.
That, and I think they know Teresa's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Oof, yeah.
I think that's part of it. They you need to look out for her because them saying that. Do you think they have their own reservations about Joe Giudice?
Who's on reservation? Wait, what?
The parents. The fact that they said protect your sister, look out for her, be there for her, blah 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 blah. Do you think they have their own reservations about Juicy Joe?
No, I think that that's just old school Italian way.
Okay.
Right? And if they especially if the dad is telling that to Joe, he's probably doing it after, his wife has passed and it's just no, and he knows that he's going soon, because he mourned his wife's passing. He really did. And he wasn't the same after she passed. I think it's old school Italian.
Okay.
The boy always has to look out for his sister. Is she the smartest tool in tool shed? No. But he has to look out for her, especially considering at that time, her husband was in jail. It looked like he wasn't coming back. The deportation started. He was already deported by the time their dad died. So, of course, his, leading up to those days, he was like, you have to look after your sister. She's alone. And she shouldn't be. She should have a man there to protect her.
Gotcha.
You know, it's just very old school. Again, culture thing coming in there. I just feel bad for Joe. And here's why I don't think they blame Juicy Joe, the parents. They wouldn't have moved into his house if they did.
Could they have just been like watching over him, like making sure he's on the up and up?
No, they knew
okay.
he was doing something. They moved in once he went to jail.
Gotcha.
They wasn't gonna be a part of that. But you know, you can't tell Teresa nothing. And now Teresa is with her husband, so you know that's her deal. You know, you don't get in between a husband and a wife. And remember when the Gorgas first joined this franchise, it was on the heels of one of their sons' baptisms where Joe Gorga blew up at his dad because of interference from Teresa and Juicy Joe. And he felt that they were turning his parents against him. Remember, that's how it all started, at that baptism.
That's true. I always think sometimes parents always are suspicious of the spouse. Just my opinion.
It could be. And Teresa's just messy.
Well, that too.
Teresa's just messy. So yeah, that another successful dinner at Dolores's house. Everybody goes home. What did you think of Jackie's meltdown?
I was like, meh. Wasn't at this point. You handle people how you need to handle people, or you move on. You don't need to break down boo-hoons and stuff. But she's the type of person who it's like she's always holding back. So I think she just kind of blew up because she couldn't explode. Like she's like, I've done everything I can. Like I don't want to blow up on this chick, so that's why I'm crying.
Interesting. I don't know. I didn't understand why she was like snot ragging all over the place. I didn't. She has the wherewithal to fight back with Teresa. Then I thought, well, maybe she feels betrayed because it's Margaret's Joe who was talking about her husband and bringing it back up again. And maybe that's why she was crying. I don't know. I didn't understand that part at all. If anybody does understand, please leave it in the comments below. I don't know. I didn't get it. And then she goes and calls her husband while she's snot ragging. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
But thank God he's not like Joe Gorga, who would have drove over there right away to go and beat somebody up. I don't think he's that invested in this rumor.
I don't think so either.
You know, but yeah, everybody goes back home. The next day, Dolores and Frank are talking about Evan's arrival today, and they are concerned. Everybody just wants Teresa to put an end to this. They can't take it anymore. It's run its course. And Joe Gorga, we find out, calls Teresa early and gives her instructions. He says, you've got to end this today. When you come over here, you're going to apologize. And then you're going to say to Evan, you know, I didn't mean it, and let it be done.
Correct. And that's what she does. Cue the whack apology, but it's over and done with.
And then everybody's playing on the boat, the waters, not jet skis, whatever, all of the water equipment. Yeah. Everybody's doing that. Melissa shows off her 7-bedroom home on the Jersey Shore. That's an amazing house, though.
It is. I loved it.
I ain't gonna lie, that's an amazing house. What else happened? Oh, now we get to the next fight. So we get through breakfast, we get through water sports, we have lunch delivered, we all sit down at the table, and Jen decides to start an argument with Margaret. The boys get up and leave the women to caterwaul.
Yeah, Jen needed a moment this episode, so this is what she did. I'm like, you know what? At the beginning of the season, I was really liking Jen. She was making sense. She was being like very mature. I'm like, I like this Jen. You come through, Jen. And then she does. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I tried.
I love it when Margaret tells her that your husband is like the piggy bank for your entire family or something to that effect. I was like, you got to pick and choose who you deciding to attack. And I would not attack Margaret.
When she said that he's her sugar daddy, I'm like, I'm done. Mm-hmm. I'm done. I'm like, but I got no sympathy for Jennifer because you tried it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Here's the thing. Let's do this. Jennifer, you leave Marge alone. Leave Marge Jr. alone. Stick to Melissa. That's more in your weight class. Because you're out of depth with Margaret. You can't handle that.
Yeah, like Margaret's an old dog. Like she will like whip a knife out from under her sleeve and stab you up underneath your belly, and you won't even know until your intestines fall out. Like, you don't mess with veterans like Margaret.
Well, like I thought she taught you a lesson on your first season when she said, either when you said, I don't care what bed my husband sleeps in, she's like, including your girlfriends. I was like, see, she ate you up right there. You should have learned then and there. Stop it. Don't do it. Grant Margaret only said it to be me. I said it to be hurtful, and I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But
that should have taught you a lesson, though.
Right.
The caliber of ammunition that Margaret can fire at you. Like, I'm sorry, she came with like a knife to like an all-on military assault. I'm sorry, Jen. Read the room.
Right. That's like she's not coming at Jackie anymore. She learned after Jackie ate her up last year. I'm like, you just need to stick to Melissa. Maybe Teresa if you feel like it's a good day, but you just, and we know you ain't messing with Dolores, so we know that's completely out your. No.
Nobody messes with Dolores.
Mm-mm.
You see the muscle that she carries with her everywhere, Frank? Nobody's messing with Dolores. And besides, she's Black Dolores.
Yeah.
No.
Stick to Melissa and maybe Teresa if you're feeling good. If you ate your Spanish that day, stick to them too.
My God.
Leave Marge Jr. alone.
Yeah. Oh my God. Did we miss anything in this episode? It was just basically a fight at the beginning and a fight at the end and water sports in between.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, so basically that was the Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 11, episode 7, Old Feuds Never Die. Guys, this was a lot. Thank you for sticking with us. I will put in the timestamps for each episode so that you can go and fast forward to the one that you want to see most. And leave some comments below. Do you like us doing this week in review for Bravo? Or do you want us to split it up? Not that we can fit it into the schedule, but we'll try. Leave your comments below. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, tell a friend. Share our content, have them come over and subscribe to us because we're on the race to 1,000 subscribers. Anything else from you, Jamal?
No, that's it. This was pretty good.
Yay! A marathon session for Bravo. So until next time.
Bye.